Chapter 77, Deception. Riel puts some sense in Hyun-ki about his responsibility to Sarah and the child she's carrying in her womb. Hyun-ki realized and thought about his problem, which couldn't be taken for granted. Hyun called Sarah to see him at his office. They will discuss how they would face her present condition. I want you to leave your job, either resign or be terminated. Choose, Hyun-ki ordered. Sarah's eyebrows furrowed, and her face glowered. Are you out of your mind? How would I sustain my needs if I don't have a job to depend on? And what? You wanted everyone to know you're pregnant. Do you think I will admit to that in public? If you want me to father that child, do as I say. Are we clear? Hyun-ki's face was severe, and he was determined not to be refused. Sarah appeared like a sheep, and she looked at Hyun sheepishly and apologized. I'm sorry, but if I will leave the company, what then? Because you were way ahead while I was about to say what was in my mind. You didn't give me a chance. Now you are asking, what then? In shame, Sarah put her head down, and Hyun-ki continued, prepare to take a leave, and I will house you while pregnant. I will support you, give you everything you want and need. Sarah's eyes widened, her face lit up with hope. Then, not wanting to anger Hyun, she asked carefully, did Riel know about us? I mean, my having a child with you? Still looking down, avoiding his face teeming with irritation. Should I let her know? Sarah. Hyun lied, checking on Sarah's reaction. No. I don't think it's a wise move. Hyun cut in immediately. And why not a wise move? He asked, squinting. No wife would like a pregnant mistress. Hyun laughed sarcastically. Mistress? You? My mistress? I don't think so, Sarah. You're such a dreamer, aren't you? Hyun continued laughing. If I am not your mistress, why are you giving me a house and supporting me? Sarah got offended and was about to shed tears. Then Hyun spoke. You forgot one thing, Sarah. You said you're pregnant and want me to father that child in your womb. And that's what I am doing now. Not for you but for that child. I will consider other alternatives once you've given birth. But for now, you will take care of that thing and make it healthy so we won't have any problem raising that child once born. Hyun stressed. So, make a letter of resignation and don't wait for Han Shin-dae's return for his approval. I will bring you to your new home tomorrow, and we have nothing more to discuss so you can leave now, Hyun stated as he browsed the papers on his table without looking at Sarah. She was smiling as she turned away from Hyun-ki. All she felt at that moment was the success of having her plan work. Meanwhile, the sales agent called Hyun-ki and told him the house was already available. How soon would you like to see the place, Mr. Han? Today. I would bring my wife to see the place. It would be her approval, not mine. Well then, sir. I will text you the location and will wait for you. Hyun-ki called Mrs. Echeverria to inform her that he was taking away his wife again for personal matters. Frowning and a little bit irritated, she agreed. She called Riel to inform her that her husband was coming to pick her up. I'm sorry, ma'am, for I am distracted again in my work. But why do you always agree to my husband's requests when you know he is disrupting my work? Mrs. Echeverria was at a loss for words and was in the middle of worry and fear. Suppose Mrs. Echeverria told Riel the truth, which Hyun-ki warned her not to say anything about. In that case, Mrs. Echeverria could lose her job. She was worried at the same time, because the employees would be raising their eyebrows at her again, suspecting that she was favoring Riel. After all, her husband was a very wealthy and influential man. Oh, that was nothing, Riel. It was only a matter of returning a favor. Please go ahead and leave your work to Natalie. Riel was unhappy and suggested, I will go, but you have to cut my pay and give it to Natalie because she was always covering for me. Will you do that for Natalie's sake, ma'am? Mrs. Echeverria was delighted with Riel's attitude, and she agreed. A few minutes later, Junie was inside the bank to notify Riel of her leave. Riel's face was indescribable as she faced Hyun inside the van. Why do you always disrupt my work, Hyun? I even beat the manager for leaving my work without a concrete reason. Riel's lips pursed to show her tension and disapproval. Hyun looked fondly at Riel, caressed her hair, and smiled sweetly. It was because we would see the house where we will house Sarah until she gives birth. It was your idea, remember? Riel was utterly surprised and asked. She agreed to leave and stay away from everyone, including her family. What was the deal, Hyun? Spill it out quick. I told her I would support her financially and answer everything she wanted and needed. She was curious if you knew of her pregnancy, and I lied. That could be the reason why she took my deal, thinking she would be my mistress. Riel pursed her lips again and leaned her back forcibly on the back seat with folded arms. Hey, babe. Do you think I would agree to have her as my mistress? I told her I was doing this for my child, and warned her to take care of it, so there won't be a problem as soon as the child was born. You're not hiding anything from me? Because once I found out that you're keeping things away from me again, it would be your last straw, Mr. Han Hyunaki, warned Riel, squinting her eyes at him with a strong and determined tone. Hyun held and kissed her hand as a gesture of assuring her. They both got off the car, and Riel was looking around, making an ocular inspection of the entire area, and then the house. It was a bungalow house with a nice front lawn and a garden at the side of the house. The windows were provided with insect screens, and there were grills built for security. As they entered the house, the living room was already furnished with appliances and furniture. It was brightly lit up with LED lights surrounding the ceiling. The dining room was spacious, and it only needed curtains to protect the house from the sunset, or as cover at night. The kitchen also was fully furnished, so the tenant had nothing else to think about. Riel entered the bedrooms. Each were provided with air conditioning units, and the beds for the 3 bedrooms were new as they were still wrapped with plastic covers. The 2 bedrooms had a shared bathroom, and the expansive and brightly polished master bedroom had wall-mounted TV, with an ensuite bathroom. Then Riel pointed to a corner of the master bedroom, and suggested that it would be the location of the baby's crib. Hyun smiled pleasantly and was satisfied with Rieler's approval. The following day was Sarah's joyful pregnant life. Hyun-ki met her at a convenience store Sarah specified as their meeting place, and Junie met her to carry her luggage to the car's trunk. The drive to her new place was long. As Sarah looked out the window, she noticed only a few houses, and mainly the lots surrounding the site were still vacant and covered with tall grasses. You were genuinely persistent to hide me here, didn't you? Asked Sarah suspiciously, then continued to air her concern. What if something bad happened here, and it seemed there was no signal for an internet? How would I call you for an emergency? There's no need for the internet, Sarah. That's the main reason for our deal, to keep you away from prying eyes. Not even your dad has to know. It was clear in our deal. Your phone will be used only to call me whenever you need something, or for an emergency. If ever I catch you posting something on social media, even just once, our deal is over. You'll be sent back to Korea and on your own. Had I made myself clear? Okay, understood. But can I have my best friend, Lily, come and visit me often? And does it mean I'll be leaving here alone? Sarah felt disturbed. No. I've already hired a companion for you, to attend to all your needs. Hyun turned to Junie and asked, where is she? Junie, the lady was in her 40s, came out from the back door, and made her presence known to everyone. She was Junie's aunt, and Riel chose her because she could be trusted, and well-versed in managing a home, especially cooking. Junie introduced her. This is Aunt Manda, sister of my mother, a spinster. She had served the Han family at the old house for a decade. Well, now that everything's in order, I'll leave you to Aunt Manda, as we call her. You can live as a princess here in your own house, and all you have to do is care for that thing in your womb, and be sure nothing physical would turn nasty for you. I would allow your friend to visit you, but her only. Was I understood? Sarah. Then she cheerfully nodded, and everyone left except for Aunt Manda. In her bedroom, Sarah was exuberant. At last, her plan worked, and soon after, Hyun-ki's attention will be devoted to her, thinking that she was with child, Hyun-ki's child. She was overjoyed, and she kept dancing, then dived into her bed and rolled over, filled with happiness. After a little while, her mobile rang, and it was Lily. How is it, Sarah? Had everything turned out well? Lily was excited to know. Yes, and you know what? Hyun-ki said that I could live like a princess in my own house? Oh, Lily, I have a home now, and a maid to serve and care for all of my needs. I never thought Hyun-ki could be so thoughtful and caring for me. See me tomorrow, will you? I could not last long without a friend. Without you, Sarah chirped. Now that Sarah was settled for her pregnancy days, how long could she hide the truth? Keep following the exciting episodes in the Windows of the Heart series. Thank you.